Good afternoon, it's Elizabeth Shannon from Loud in a Crowd, and I'm with a special guest today, Victoria Ugarte, who is a culture specialist, a world traveller, and a very interesting and lovely lady. So, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Elizabeth. Thank you for having me.
You've just become a best-selling author on Amazon. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I have. It was for my book, Losing Sight of the Shore. And to my great delight and great surprise, the third day after it was made available on Amazon, it hit number 11, which was just 9 removed from Eat, Love, Pray. So I was absolutely gobsmacked and thrilled, absolutely thrilled.
Well, it is a thrill because there's so much work goes into writing a book that to have it endorsed like that is fantastic for people to actually read it and enjoy it. Now, today I'm actually going to be talking about this book, another book that you have written. You've written many, and they're all related to travel and culture and your experiences over many years of travel and living in different countries. So this book is called Culture Savvy for Women, which I have found quite incredible. Having been brought up in a bit of a conservative family, my mother used to be a stickler for manners, and reading this book, I just think, oh, how valuable is this to actually allow people to feel comfortable socially and in business. So tell me, what brought this book on? What actually...
Well, Culture Savvy for Women is a complete guide to culturally correct behavior around the world. And the reason this book came to be was because of my own travels. Once upon a time, I was in the fashion industry. I spent 25 years in the fashion industry, traveling the world. And I cannot tell you how many cultural faux pas I made during my travels. So traveling frequently does not necessarily mean traveling sensitively. And so what I thought I would do was just take the countries of the world, you know, China, Japan, Germany, France, Spain, you know, countries in Southeast Asia, in the Middle East, and just put down for women things like greeting and conversation etiquette, gift-giving etiquette, dining etiquette, dressing etiquette, which is just so important, conversation taboos, things like that, and just making a really comprehensive guide because, as you know, women are far more affected by cultural differences than men.
We are, and we're more vulnerable. And I mean, you even get into those sorts of discussions around if you dress in a particular way that, I mean, Australians are completely casual.
Yes, completely. And very relaxed.
Very relaxed. And we're near Manly. This is where this film is being taken. So, I mean, Manly is like thongs, shorts, whatever.
Very beachy.
But in another country, this can be a come-on to guys, or it can be misconstrued as...
Yes, something like that can be misconstrued. I mean, places like this where the dress is appropriate, number one, for the weather, and number two, for the lifestyle. In some countries, that can actually be misconstrued as someone being permissive.
Yeah.
So they're totally different mindsets. So while it's okay to dress like that, and maybe on Bondi Beach in Manly, it's not okay to dress like that when you're touring Egypt, for example. So people need to be aware of that, need to be aware of different cultures, different religions, different levels of patriarchy in a particular society, which dictates how conservative a society is or how liberal it is. Just things like that, and that's what this book is all about.
So it also affects business, doesn't it? I mean,
absolutely.
You were doing business deals, and one story that you might, I don't know if you would like to share about the Japanese tour that was in this book, and just revealing something about yourself immediately changed the whole dynamic of the business arrangement that you had. Would you share that story?
Yes, I'd love to. I knew about Japan, a little bit about Japan and its customs when my parents, my father was the president of the Philippines Herald in the Philippines in the early 1970s, and so he would entertain a lot of foreign dignitaries at home with my mother. And I remember he had invited a Japanese couple to our home, and you know, I was fascinated with Japan and the samurai and its tea ceremony and how formal the people were and impeccably dressed and well-mannered. It just captured my imagination. But that's as far as I knew about Japan. You know, I always saw Japan as just being a country that rose from the ashes of the war, and it was just so ultra-modern and high-tech. But I didn't realize how steeped in tradition it still was. And so I went in my Meyer fashion office days. I went to Tokyo for the first time, and the buying agency that we had there had appointed one of its gentlemen, he was an executive of the company, to accompany me around Tokyo to view its department stores and stores. I was researching marketing trends at the time, and we were getting along so well. I mean, he was impeccably dressed and well-mannered and so polite and so accommodating, and I was having a very good day. And anyway, it was in the afternoon, and we decided to call it a day and continue our work the following day. And so we were on the train on the way back to Shinjuku, where my hotel was, and we were chit-chatting, and I asked him if he had a family. Yes, you know, he had 2 children, a girl and a boy. And he asked me the same, you know, did I have any children? Yes, I had a boy. And I should have considered the gentleman that I was speaking to a traditional Japanese male, conservative Japanese male, and stopped the conversation right there.